Okay. Now I'm going to show data distribution for what music platform do students in Mr. Benak's class prefer. So, as you might know, the answers to this are going to be words, right? Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, SoundCloud. So it's not going to be like my previous data that was numeric. All right, this is going to be categorical. So when we have a categorical data set, we never ever do a box plot. Right, a box plot needs a median, a minimum, a maximum. You can't get that with categorical data. However, we can make a histogram or a dot plot. I just think a dot plot looks like sort of unprofessional, so we're going to do a histogram. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to write my categories. Spotify. And maybe you can even hear there's people playing music outside. Apple Music. Should I ask them? I should be like, hey, what streaming platform are you using? I'm conducting a survey. We could really use your input. And then YouTube. All right. Listen, I've definitely been that person before. I like to play my music from my car. I like it when it's loud. It sounds good. You think you look really cool. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. That should be another question. How do you feel about people who blast music from their car while they're parked on the street? I don't know. I guess whatever. I don't want to be like a grouchy old person. Okay, so every time I see one, as you can see here, we can see that you can see the categories. So that's what I'm looking at when I'm writing this down. I'm just gonna write a tally mark every time I see it. Okay, so I see one for Spotify. So I'm gonna scroll down as I do it so I don't get lost. Apple Music, Spotify, Apple Music. Apple Music or Spotify. You know what? I'll give a check for each one. Spotify, 2 for Spotify. Spotify or Apple Music again. I didn't know people use both. That's crazy. Andrew Lane. I just blew up Andrew Lane's spot. He uses Spotify. I don't think he minds. All right, another one for Spotify. 2 for Apple Music. Apple Music, Spotify. I don't know. Okay, I guess someone doesn't listen to music at all. Interesting. Apple Music. So I'm gonna add another category, neither, or none. Here, there should be none. Okay, and then one for Apple Music, another for Spotify, another for Spotify, another for Spotify. So one thing I actually haven't done that I probably should have done is make sure someone didn't vote twice, because I didn't set it for my first period class. They couldn't vote twice. So, hopefully no one did that. But that's sort of the things that you have to, when you're conducting a study, you have to make sure that these things are in place where you can't get, biased information. And we'll get more into that topic later on in the unit. All right, first YouTube. Another Spotify. One for SoundCloud, nice. YouTube, Spotify. I see Musi, so that's a YouTube. Another YouTube, Spotify. Another Musi, so that's like YouTube. Another Spotify, SoundCloud, Spotify. Music. I'm guessing that means Musi. I don't know. They said music. Music is sort of vague, so I'm gonna give it to Apple Music because the word music is literally there. SoundCloud and Spotify. That's like me. Apple Music, Apple Music. Apple Music and SoundCloud. Spotify. Apple Music. Ran out of space there. Spotify. YouTube. All right, great. So now I've got all my data. I'm going to count it up. let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 5, 10, 14, 4, 6, and 1. All right, now I'm gonna make my histogram. All right, and some of you are probably thinking, Mr. Benak, I can already tell what's gonna happen here. That's fine, but you know, you want to always display data in a nice, cohesive way so that anyone can understand it. All right, you might be able to understand what these numbers mean and interpret and compare them, but you want to create, you know, ways that everyone can understand. That's really, you know, the thing that's the most difficult about math is how can I express this idea in a way everyone in the world can understand. That's really what we want to do in this class. So what I did for the y-axis, since I see the top frequency is 26, is I made it 13 centimeters because that's a factor of factor of 26. And then what I'm going to do next is just mark off every half centimeter. All right, and yeah, think about why I'm choosing to mark off every half centimeter. Why does that make sense? You guys can answer that on Edpuzzle. All right, and the reason I'm marking off every half centimeter is because if I do 13 times 2, I get 26. Great. Looks like I messed up a little bit with the spacing, but hey, it's pretty close to perfect. All right, and then what's nice about the histogram is you don't really have to label anything on the x-axis. It's not super important. I mean, I guess I'll make the bars evenly wide, so they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's mark off 5 inches. Does that fit? Yeah, it fits pretty well. It's 1, it's 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Okay, so the first category we'll do is Spotify, and I'll do this in descending order. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, and then none. All right, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26. So Spotify is coming in first at 26. Great. Apple 14. Okay. SoundCloud with 4. I'm just lining it up so I hit 4 perfectly. All right, and then YouTube. Oh, made a mistake, right? I should have noticed that. YouTube at 6, SoundCloud at 4, so this should be up to 6. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm no different than everyone else. All right. SoundCloud with 4. That one I've already got the line a little bit there, so that's kind of nice. And then none of the above with just 1. I hope you still listen to music, whoever said none. Music is very important. Let me zoom out a little bit so people can really get the whole picture. There we go. All right, so looking at that histogram, how would you interpret that? And don't just say, oh, Spotify has the most. You know, try and say something a little bit more than that. All right, that's all for that. Thanks a lot.